Hello, how are you? Hope you're well. I have a really exciting show for you today. Today, I'm going to be talking about post-ISO skincare. So, here in Australia, the beauty industry has been in lockdown for about 11 weeks. That's 11 weeks where people couldn't go and have facial treatments and their usual beauty treatments. And in New South Wales, we reopened about 3 weeks ago. Queensland opened up a bit sooner, and the rest of the states have only been open a week or two. And some beauty salons and clinics and spas decided to actually stay in lockdown a little bit longer just to make sure they got everything right for the reopening. So people are just now getting their treatments done, catching up with all the waxing and getting the brows back into shape and having the facial treatments and getting their skin back into shape. So what should you be doing at home to look after your skin? But of course, if you need help, because your skin has suffered during isolation, and there's been a lot of people, lots of questions about that. You know, people are experiencing dryness, dehydration, sensitive skin, congested skin, and breakouts. And I'll talk about today, what the possible causes of that are during isolation, and also how you can actually manage your skin at home to support the professional treatments you are getting done in the beauty clinic and spa. For my friends overseas, you're probably still in lockdown. I know my friends in Canada can only perform waxing treatments at this stage, maybe massage, not allowed to perform facial treatments just as yet. So for my listeners overseas, if you are still in lockdown, some of these tips would be quite helpful for you as well to look after your skin in the meantime before you can go in and see your esthetician and get your skin back into shape. But before I get into the rest of the show, I want to ask you, what have you been doing during lockdown? It's really interesting. I've been talking to my friends and my family and colleagues in the industry, and everybody's reacted so differently to isolation. Some people went just into total timeout. They've just decided that that's it. I'm not going to do it. And it's a little holiday, a forced holiday, and just watching TV all day and staying on the computer and playing games and that kind of thing. Other people decided that they'll take advantage of it and do all the things that they've always wanted to do, but never had the time to do it. So I know people who've undertaken fitness challenges. Other people decided to throw themselves into education and training. And that's what I've been part of. So I've been extremely busy during isolation, which is why you haven't heard from me for some time, because I've been working in the industry, helping other professionals, training them up and upskilling them in the beauty skills and beauty therapy. So it's been really, really busy. I myself too have done a lot of online training to upskill myself, and it's been fabulous. Personally, I found working from home, I really enjoy, because it gives me more time to go and exercise, take my dogs out for a walk instead of battling my way in traffic to and from work. So I'm actually taking advantage of that little extra time I have for self-care. I also found that as a family, we were forced to be together for so long that we actually grew closer together. I've got young girls and we played games, and of course we all watch TV, lots and lots of TV. I wish I read a little bit more. I didn't really get much time to read, but I've been really busy with work and doing everything else. We did lots of cooking together as well, because of course a lot of the takeaways were closed down, or we just didn't want to go out. So we cooked from home and experiment with some meals, ate really well. And I will say my skincare routine was down pat, better than ever. I went right into, I actually did a lot of decluttering and cleaning like everybody else, and found skincare in there that I forgot I had. So I redid my skincare routine, and I was really good with it morning and night. Lots of serums, lots of regular exfoliation, regular masking, looking after the skin. So my skin actually has come through it really well, probably better than ever. But a lot of people suffered at home because just didn't know what to do. Look, clinics and spas, a lot of them stayed open to help people manage their skin at home themselves. So they were open for retail sales and putting little things together for people to look after the skin at home. So if you're one of the lucky people who was under the care of your esthetician or beauty therapist, then your skin is probably looking pretty good. But if you haven't, like a lot of people, you've probably been online and buying things and experimenting, and your skin has suffered. So a lot of people have been suffering with a dry skin, sensitive skin, congested skin, and even breakouts. And that's what I would like to talk about today. So let's get on with the show. So let's talk about the impact of isolation on the skin. You would think that if people are at home, they had the time to look after their skin a little bit more. However, it's not the case for everybody. Some people did really well, especially if they were lucky under the care of an esthetician or beauty therapist, and others didn't handle it so too well. But there are other factors also that have impacted on the skin that I believe in isolation. And number one was stress. There was a lot of people who worried and concerned, of course, people who lost their jobs, or people worrying about their health, or worrying about the friends and family. The stress of COVID-19, and even if you think you're perhaps not stressed, your mind, you're in the back of your mind, you're always thinking about it. And stress can really impact on the skin. Stress is one of the leading causes of acne, breakouts, rosacea, eczema, dermatitis, inflammatory conditions, because stress levels raise inflammation levels in your body. So stress is a big, big problem. The other thing I think that impacted on our skin while we were in isolation is that we spent so much time indoors. We had to isolate, and some people didn't go out and exercise regularly and just spent a lot of times indoors. And so that lack of exercise and fresh air and sunshine would definitely impact on the skin. So let's talk about the lack of exercise. So if you didn't get your exercise, for example, my daughter, she was stood down. She was working in hospitality. She was stood down. And for the first probably month or 6 weeks, she just slept and slept and slept. Whenever she came out, ate something, watched a bit of TV, went back to sleep. Didn't do any exercise for the first month or so. And obviously she started experiencing a bit of breakout. Now, what happens if you don't get enough exercise is that your lymphatics are not flowing properly. So your lymphatic system becomes more stagnant, the toxins build up, and then you start to get inflammation in the skin and you start breaking out. So lack of exercise impacts on how well your lymphatics work, because unlike your circulatory system, your blood system that is pumped by your heart, your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It is pumped by muscles. So that's how your lymphatic system moves around your body, is the muscle contractions. So to have a healthy lymphatic system, to have it moving properly, you need to do regular exercise. That's why your doctors are always telling you, you need to exercise regularly. And your beauty therapists are probably telling you that as well. So the other thing is too, that if people are not going outdoors, not experiencing that fresh air, and just being outside amongst nature, is mindfulness. So lack of mindfulness. I know when I go walk my dogs, even though I might have be listening to a podcast while I'm walking them, I'm still out there and I'm just forgetting about everything else. I'm just focusing on what I'm doing. So enjoying the nature, enjoying the walk, as well as learning something while I'm listening to the podcast. But sometimes if I really need to distress and unwind, I don't take my phone with me. I don't take my iPod, and I just don't listen to anything. I just listen to the nature around me and what's going on around me. So I think when we were in isolation and people didn't go out as much, then they would have found that they may have affected their stress levels too, and they were probably, resulting in skin problems. And then finally, going outdoors, the lack of sunshine, the lack of vitamin D. Now, did you know that if your body is deficient in vitamin D, you'd be more prone to being sick and infections, you have a lower immunity, you're more likely to be tired and fatigued, you're more likely to also experience hair loss. But one thing that I found interesting with vitamin D deficiency is that can cause impaired wound healing, so that if you have a scratch, if you have a pimple, or if you have dermatitis or eczema or rosacea, your skin's not repairing and healing as well if you're deficient in vitamin D. So if you're spending a lot of time indoors, you probably may be deficient in vitamin D, and it can affect your skin as well. So these are some of the things that could possibly have affected people that are experiencing the dryness, the sensitivity, the congestion, and the breakouts as a result of isolation. So let's talk about how we can actually manage their skin. So first of all, dehydrated skin.